I'm meteorologist James Hopkins with 10 Tampa Bay, and we are streaming live with First Coast News, and we're going to talk a lot about Hurricane Melissa. Of course, all eyes have been on this for its potential track, and if you remember, just about 2 or 3 days ago, it was kind of all over the place. The good news is, since this one became a tropical storm on Monday, we haven't seen any tracks bringing it towards us. No forecast models bringing it towards us. Some had it maybe clipping close to Miami, but they're getting a little bit better agreement on where this one's going to go. Still, again, like we say so much during hurricane season, we're waiting on that turn, and that turn could be anywhere for the next couple of days all the way into maybe Tuesday. So again, that's what we're watching. Tropical Storm Melissa. Again, I'm joined by Lee Southwick at First Coast News, and something we have both been watching, again, with the position of where this one formed, where some of the forecast models were taken. Some of the forecast models had it coming a little closer to your coast than mine. So I guess good news for you as well that this one is looking to stay pretty far away from us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the best thing to start with, that everyone watching from Florida, this is not a direct impact to us. However, unfortunately, if you do have vacation plans, we're talking about Jamaica, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, James, these are all places that could be impacted by this soon-to-be major hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to get into why this has been a tropical storm for the past 4 days. It hasn't really strengthened up that much. And then what the official forecast is to get to right now, 70-mile-per-hour winds moving to the west-northwest at a blistering 1 mile an hour. It's been going anywhere between 1 and 3 miles an hour since Wednesday. So again, this one's not really moving that all, but I want to point out something, and this is something we show a lot. This is something that how you can tell what's kind of affecting a storm. Now you look right now at what it looks like. Let me stop this for right now. And the thing that makes this look so good now is you see that we have convection all the way around the system. So what we were seeing earlier is here would be the center and all the convection would be off to the right. What that shows is wind shear, and it has been dealing with some moderate wind shear since the beginning of the week, really. So again, once this became a tropical storm, it has not strengthened up too much since then. And you see on the circulation, though, it is kind of building a little bit more to the west, becoming a little bit more symmetrical. 982 on that pressure. It has been coming down, but again, those winds still at 70 miles an hour. Now take a look at the wind shear. And again, take a look at the wind shear. You can see that it's up around Cuba and really strong across southern Florida. And the forecast for this is to actually lighten up a little bit. Look at that front that is stalled down to the south around Miami. Now, as we go throughout today, tomorrow, and into Monday, that does start to pick up due to this next system that's coming in. We're going to see that kind of take the wind shear along with it. So look at your wind shear forecast. And again, you can see where Melissa is right here. You see that wind shear pretty much from east to west. And as we go throughout the next couple of days, watch it start to lighten up and pick up a little bit. And this is where we're watching. Look where the wind shear's a little bit less as we go throughout the next couple of days. And then, of course, this. It's like bathwater down there. We got mid-80s for these water temperatures, so that's why it is expected to strengthen. Now, for intensity forecast models, take it anywhere from some showing it just a 1 to a 2. The good news now with the latest model runs, none of them show it a Cat 5, but there is the 1 today, 3, and a 4, as you can see as we go throughout early on Monday. And there we see it moving its way up across Jamaica. Now, 155, that's the official forecast. And again, 157 is a Cat 5. So it is going to be borderline there. And again, making that turn, and more than likely sometime Monday night to early Tuesday, making landfall as, again, potentially that borderline Cat 5, and then making that turn. So this is what we were talking about with those areas that, again, if you have friends, family, loved ones live in Jamaica, Haiti, and even up Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas, going to be dealing with this. Going to cross over Cuba. It's a Cat 2, 3 to a 2, more than likely making landfall on the south side of eastern Cuba as a Cat 3, crossing over into a Cat 2, moving across the Bahamas. There's the southern Bahamas. There's Turks and Caicos. You'll see here's Turks and Caicos right here. There's the Bahamas and the islands and moving away. And again, it could be anywhere from Turks and Caicos and maybe even making that turn earlier. I'll show you the spaghetti models. But again, we do have a hurricane warning for Jamaica. We have the hurricane watch with a tropical storm warning on top of that for Haiti. So again, all in that cone. So here's going to be the main impacts. Jamaica, South Hispaniola really facing the worst impacts of this catastrophic flash flooding and landslides going on this weekend into Monday. Cuba and the Bahamas are going to be on watch for next week. We're talking about Tuesday and into Wednesday. Now look at your rainfall forecast. And again, Melissa has not moved that much this week. We're talking since Monday and now we're Saturday, about 300 miles is all it's moved. So again, we're looking at these rainfall numbers just really adding up. You see the areas here in Jamaica, some of these areas in white, that's 20 inches of rain. There's your 15 inches of rain, anywhere from about 6 to 15. And there's even some spots of white there in Haiti as well. And we actually have some video here I'd like to show you of some of the rainfall that they received so far. And check that out. And again, this is really just getting started. I mean, it has been raining for the past couple of days, but with this expected to intensify, become a bigger storm, we're not looking at this rain in these areas really subsiding till midweek next week. And you can see already dealing with that flooding, and it's only going to get worse. Again, now with the storm being more symmetrical, we're looking at the rain starting up in Jamaica more than likely today. And then they've probably seen a little bit, but really looking at that heavy rain starting today into tomorrow and lasting again through Tuesday. And this is why these numbers look so high, and potentially again getting 20. And there's some forecast models that are calling for some isolated areas getting 3 feet of rain. And again, you're looking at 10 to 20 inches widespread. And so you know what that's going to do for your flooding. Look at those cars that are already underwater. So again, this is only going to get worse. So that is really going to be the main impact, to say, for places like Haiti, where they're not going to deal with direct landfall. But as we go through Tuesday into Wednesday, as that crosses possibly again eastern Cuba, you're still looking at a Cat 3 storm. So they'll get some wind. This is going to be the main impact. And again, it's going to be flooding. So let's go back and take a look at some of these spaghetti models. And again, this, like we were talking earlier, this is the good news for Florida. So take a look at Jamaica. And again, there's still a few that take it through Haiti, but most of them through Jamaica, or maybe even potentially passing Jamaica to the west before making that turn. And that's why the cone is so big, including the entire island of Jamaica. So it just depends when it starts to make that turn. And there you see, as we go throughout 8 a.m. on Wednesday, most of your forecast models already have it clearing the Bahamas, and then that's when these areas will start to dry out and then moving its way up and out. The one thing, of course, you probably noticed that there's no forecast models to take it in Florida. And we're talking about from the Keys all the way up to Pensacola to Jacksonville. There's no models to take it anywhere near us. So again, that's good news. We will see some impacts with some higher surf and some rip currents maybe as we go throughout midweek. Lee, is that something that you guys have been watching for? Because here in Tampa, we're not expecting really anything come out of that. What are the impacts that you think and you might be able to see by the time this gets up into the Bahamas, maybe on Wednesday?
Yeah, of course, we'll have to watch the seas. We're actually already watching the seas, too. We have a high rip current risk today. But something else that's going to happen is this is going to help, Melissa's going to help for us here, wrap in some drier air, and we are going to have some really nice and cooler weather on the way. So that's why right now, James and I aren't talking too much about local impacts, Florida impacts, and why we are talking about the Caribbean. And James, if I may, I wanted to read the messaging from the National Hurricane Center as of the 11 o'clock advisory, because I always think the wording is so significant, and it's a little scary when you read this from Jamaica, talking about Jamaica specifically when it comes to Melissa. It says, Melissa's slow movement will bring a multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall beginning tonight, likely causing catastrophic flash flooding, numerous landslides, extensive infrastructure damage, long duration power and communication outages, and potentially prolonged isolation of communities. A life-threatening storm surge is also likely along portions of the southern coast. All preparations should be complete today. And even the wording a little scary for places like Haiti. Catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructure damage and potentially prolonged isolation of communities. Strong winds could also potentially last for a day or more. And in the Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall could produce potentially catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides for their southern regions. And then, of course, they also go to mention Cuba, the southeastern Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos, saying please continue to monitor this closely. As you and I were just talking about, James, we know that they could see those risks, including significant storm surge, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall by the middle of next week. And that's kind of crazy to think about. It's just Saturday. We're talking about the middle of next week. This is just slow moving.
Yeah, and that's it, is that it's slow moving and it hasn't strengthened up that much. And I couldn't imagine if the wind shear had been lighter over just the past couple of days because of how quickly this is going to rapidly intensify. And again, your official forecast is for 155-mile-per-hour winds prior to landfall. And so again, depending on exactly where it makes landfall, if it makes landfall in Jamaica, even as a Category 4, it's going to be the strongest hurricane to ever hit there. The Hurricane Gilbert in 1988 was a high-end Cat 3. That is the strongest storm to ever make landfall in Jamaica. And again, your forecast models, not all of them are showing direct impact. Look at your forecasted winds. Now, this is the GFS model, and this is something the GFS has shifted just a little bit, but not much. This is the same thing that we were looking at with this model Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Again, on Tuesday into Wednesday, it was still showing right over Hispaniola, but now it looks to cross right in between Jamaica and Haiti, and then move its way up between Haiti and Cuba, and not even making landfall, passing to the south of Turks and Caicos. Again, that would be fantastic, but that really doesn't take the impacts down any, really not that much. It takes it down just a little bit for Jamaica. Again, if doesn't make landfall in Jamaica and passes to the east, you're of course on the better side of the storm, but they've been dealing with the rain. The rain is going to be the big impact. And I saw the potential for anywhere from 8 to 10 foot of storm surge if it makes landfall. Here's your GFS model again, and it's going to be close. It's really all about that rain, and you can see the wind for Haiti would be worse with this model because, again, it barely looks like it crosses that southwestern tip and then moves its way south of Turks and Caicos, and then it moves its way up and out. So the forecast models, again, still not in complete agreement on where this one's going. And the wind shear forecast kind of shows the same thing, shows it lightening up a little bit. That's what turns it to the north, and the GFS just has it lightening up just the north of it as we go throughout today and tomorrow, allowing that to make that turn, and again, not coming in contact with Jamaica, and then again, moving its way up and out. And like Lee was just telling you about our fantastic weather, we've got a hurricane blocker, which I'll show you in just a second. But let's take a look again at the European model, and same thing, but this one goes further to the west before turning to the north, and there we go throughout the day. Monday, there's Monday evening into early Tuesday morning, a direct impact on Jamaica. The good news is the European model is kind of one of the outliers, and it is typical. European model is very good on track. But this one shows it only making landfall, and we can hope this is true as a Category 2 storm. That's as strong as the European model is showing this one getting, just a Category 2. And then moving its way just barely to the east of Cuba as a Category 1, moving its way, of course, near Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, and then moving its way up and out. So again, this is where we talk about model bias. It just depends because the European is really good on track. The GFS, I think, is a little bit better on intensity. And of course, waiting for them to come into alignment to see when this does start to make that turn, or at least strengthen up and start to make that turn. So you can see still traveling to the west, northwest as we go throughout this weekend. There's 8 p.m. on Monday. There's it making landfall, and then making an abrupt kind of turn to the northeast, where this one has it basically going right in between Cuba and Haiti. And this is the reason, this is what we call the hurricane blocker for us. This is what's going to bring us our fantastic weather as we wrap up the week and for Halloween. But this cold front is going to help give it a push. It more than likely will merge with it and pick up some speed and head out to sea. Again, I already showed you that wind shear forecast, and there it is. It takes a little bit longer for the European model to have that push its way up towards the north, which is why it continues on that track to the west-northwest until that lightens up, makes that turn. Then that cold front comes in, picks up, and takes it away from us. So there's your comparing the models. And again, things are looking still great for us. Unfortunately, again, this could still be a direct impact from a major hurricane right on Jamaica. But again, keep an eye on the intensity of this, because the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center takes it to 155. That's the strongest of all the forecast models. There's some forecast models that keep it at 2. The bulk of it make it into a 3, with, again, some making it to 4. But as of now, as of the 12Z run, this morning's run, none of them have it making it up to a Cat 5, which is good news, because quite a few of them had it making to a Cat 5 yesterday. And then again, they've been backing off a little bit. Again, the wind shear helps us. Again, here it is. There's your official forecast. And again, you see underlying is the European model, where it's going to go just a tad bit slower. So you see now, you pause this on Thursday, and you can see here where the official forecast has it here. You can see where the Euro model is right here. But either way you look at it, there's the front. That's going to pick it up and move it away, which is great news. So with all that said, Lee, we're going to talk more about that cold front, because that is what's going to be impacting us. And I know you guys are looking forward to it. I can't wait to show people what it's going to be like on Friday morning. And I have a feeling in your area, you're going to need some jackets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have to let you know I'm a wimp. I mean, hence I'm already wearing a jacket. I find it quite cool in these mornings, but especially Friday morning, which is Halloween. So just start thinking ahead, you guys, about Halloween costumes, maybe some long sleeves with that. So we like these cold fronts, not only because they're hurricane blockers, but they are helping our forecast. So James, I don't know, do you want to dive into some local forecasts for Jacksonville and Tampa? Should we do that?
Yeah, go ahead. I think I'm done with Melissa for now. So let's talk more about what we're going to be dealing with as we head through this week and into the weekend. So take it away for Jacksonville.
Fantastic. All right, we will switch over to my graphics then. And this, we're going to start off with a live look out at Jacksonville Beach, because those of you on the First Coast, you know, today or this weekend, big weekend with the Sea and Sky Air Show. Lots of people heading to Jax Beach, and you can see there, pretty day it looks like, but the wind is picking up. Also, this picture now frozen, but if you look out to the ocean, to the Atlantic, you can see it's a little rough out there. We do have a small craft advisory, and I know that a lot of people do like to get out on their boats to watch the Sea and Sky Air Show. Today, not that day, or tomorrow. Temperatures sitting in the 70s out there at the beaches. So we have slowly started to warm up into the 70s across the area. Early this morning, we had 50s inland, 60s for others of you, but we stayed in the 70s along those beaches in Northeast Florida. We are continuing to warm up, so only 11 a.m. and already approaching the upper 70s. A look at satellite, notice those clouds out there over the Atlantic moving on shore. It's possible we could have a small sprinkle along the beaches. It would be very brief, very short-lived. So today is the better of the 2 days to get out to the air show, to get out to the beach. Now, as mentioned, though, it is breezy. The wind is continuing to pick up. We now have sustained winds of 20 miles an hour at Mayport, 16 at the Jacksonville Airport, 12 for places like Waycross and Brunswick and Palm Coast. And then occasionally we have some stronger gusts. And I do think today our max gust could top out near 30 miles an hour. That would be later on today at the beaches, not inland. But recently, we had a gust of 21 in St. Simon's Island and 23 miles an hour in Palm Coast. So we'll watch out for those breezes. Hold on to your hats if you are heading out there. And as mentioned, we do have that small craft advisory, and we also have rip currents all up and down our beaches. So if you are heading out to the Sea and Sky Air Show, as mentioned, today is more of my pick day. Yes, it will be breezy. Those temperatures staying in the upper 70s. Same story tomorrow, but we could have some rain later on in the day tomorrow. Not a washout. And for those of you inland, Sunday will be a nice day. It would just be for those beaches with a weather impact alert, which I'll get to in 1 second. But first, I just want to finish talking about today because I do like today's forecast. Our average high this time of year is 79 degrees. We're right near that. Some of you inland will be moving into the low 80s, but overall, comfortable. As mentioned, I can't rule out that isolated shower for our beaches today, but it's tomorrow that we're watching the increasing rain chances and mainly later in the day. So in the afternoon and evening hours, we could have a little bit more rain activity. Again, it's not going to be a washout, but something to keep an eye on. And then more of that rain continues Sunday night and then into Monday. So for our commutes, Monday morning, and this is even showing Monday evening, we need to watch out for rain. So that is why we have issued weather impact alerts. It starts tomorrow evening or in the afternoon and evening hours for coastal areas, because we do know a lot of people will be out at the beach for the Sea and Sky Air Show. But then it continues into Monday for everyone, for all of the First Coast, for widely scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms possible. So don't forget your rain gear, and please be careful with your commutes and when you hit the road on Monday. Now, our rain coverage is going to drop back again later in the week. So Tuesday and Wednesday, we still have that 20% chance of rain. That would be for an isolated shower possible. And then our high temperatures cooling back down. In fact, by Tuesday, we're going to be cooler than normal, high near 73, so a cooler day. And then beyond Wednesday, that's when our temperatures really do drop. So as we take a look at our low temperatures, normally we're sitting in the upper 50s this time of year for the morning hours. Notice by Thursday, a low of 50s. That means particularly for those of you inland, you will be in the 40s. Now, of course, looking ahead to Friday, which is Halloween, quite a cool day. So we go from near 80 today and tomorrow. We have that weather impact alert in effect Sunday evening for the beaches for some showers, maybe a few storms, and then Monday during our commutes having to deal with the rain and the thunderstorms, to seeing those conditions calm down Tuesday and Wednesday, a few of those showers, but not too bad. And then the cooler air really moves in. Mornings in the 40s already for some of you Thursday morning, and then for everyone almost on Friday morning, we'll have to watch out for coastal areas. You're going to be a bit more mild, lower 50s. But then look at that, highs potentially staying in the 60s, both Thursday and Friday. So, James, I think that would be more of a shock to the system, staying in the 60s all day. Of course, when the sun sets for trick-or-treating, it's going to be quite chilly. So here in Northeast Florida, we will be needing jackets.
Yeah, I tell you one thing, I probably at 46, I'd have put a jacket on too. So you are looking, yes. That is going to be, and we're looking at the same thing. This is all part of the same system that is going to be bringing us we're going to be 10 degrees below average on Thursday and Friday for highs. And again, we're going to be potentially in the 50s, even around the bay for Friday morning. And the last time we were in the 50s was April 13th. So it's been quite a while for us here. Let's take a look out at Clearwater Beach. And again, we're looking beautiful for the day today. It's going to be a great weekend to maybe head out to the beach. There's a lot of activities going on. This is the time of year that it feels good. It's still a little on the muggy side for the day today, but mid 80s, lots of sunshine, no rain chances. But we do also have that small craft advisory because we're going to be breezy today as well. And that small craft advisory goes through tomorrow evening. Winds are out of the northeast, 15 to 25 knots, and seas are at 2 to 5 feet. So again, a little on the breezy side, and you can see our current winds. We're seeing teens 20. Look at Brooksville, 20 mile per hour sustained wind with 28 for a wind gust. Sebring 15 with 22 for the gust, and even Clearwater 15 miles an hour with a gust of 23. Tampa 12 with that gust at 25. So again, a breezy day today. Temperatures right now in the upper 70s to about 80. These dew points, again, not too bad today. We got a good range of the 60s, but look at that humidity trend going up Monday and Tuesday. But we like that down arrow, what it's going to be doing Wednesday, especially Thursday into Friday. So today, upper 80s, warm, breezy. That 88 will more than likely feel like about 90. So again, a little bit of humidity out there. That again is going to be going up for the next few days. Satellite radar looks good with the clouds on the east coast. We'll see a few of those a little later, and it's all about that low in Texas and the front stalled down to the south. Those two will kind of come up and join. So we're looking at some rain, maybe a stray shower late Sunday and into Monday. Not going to see that much rain here, but it's all about that trailing cold front. Look at that. So what we're going to see, there's your rain Sunday into Monday, and then dry all the way through the rest of the week and through the weekend. There's your rain chances. Again, not much. So you see on Sunday, you see that yellow spot up there. That's near Jacksonville. So that's why they're looking at a weather impact Sunday into Monday, where we're looking at low. And I might even drop that 30 on Monday down to 20, because most of the rain is going to be up to our north for both of those days. So we're still looking relatively dry. So your Futurecast not really showing too much, as we're going to see again a beautiful day today. So what I'm going to go ahead and get to is this, because this is where you're going to need to really pay the most attention. So here is the cold front that is coming through, and again, it's going to be coming through dry. It sweeps across late Wednesday night to early Thursday morning. There's your hurricane blocker. There is that cold front. Look at your dew point forecast. 45 Thursday, 42 Friday. There's the heat index, or lack of it. 90s for the next 3 days, and there's your Halloween forecast. Lots of sunshine, 74 for a high, and there is your 7-day forecast. So again, those low rain chances. By the way, we got a Bolts game tonight at 5 o'clock. The Ducks are coming to town, and again, beautiful weather today. Small chance of rain tomorrow. Breezy both days. There's that.